I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I've got a job to do. I'm going to take a table saw that I've got mounted on a cart. I'm going to take it off the cart. Thought about doing it last night, just picking it up, and I thought, no, Dave, your back has got to last a lot longer. So I'm going to rig up a hoist, pick it up off the pallet, get it down on the floor, and then we'll talk about the saw. Plan is to loop this chain over the beam and hook that cable up to it. And I was going to haul both pieces up at the same time, and then I thought, no, you got enough stuff in your hands. Just put the chain up there, then haul the cable up and put the hook on it. Don't be trying to do too many things at once. Got one of those chain link connectors. I like them because they're real solid and they're easy to do. Take them apart with your hand, as long as you don't overload them. You overload them, they bend, and then you can't get them apart without a pair of pliers. Sometimes a cutting torch. Although nowadays everybody and their brother's got a grinder sitting handy. Although nowadays everybody and their brother's got a grinder sitting close by. Okay, now I'm going to put the hook and the cable up on top. Now, normally I would put the lifting device close to the place that I'm hooking to. But since I'm going to be lifting this saw from the ground up, it makes better sense to put the lifting device down where I am rather than up in the rafters. That way I can manage the load while I'm lifting it up, because it's going to swing. Make sure I got the safety engaged. Now the hook can't slip. Those little latches can be kind of a pain, but they make it so you don't forget them. Have this little snap catch just means that you're not going to have a problem with the thing taking off on you. You got the load up in the air. You go to let it down a little bit, it catches, and the hook comes off. Then what do? You got an uncontrolled load up in the air, detached from the lifting device. Not a good thing. Okay, now way too much stuff in here. We're taking care of that slowly. This isn't a ratchet strap, this is just a cam lock strap. But it's nice because when you go to lift something, you don't want to put a chain on something that's got machine surfaces on it. The chain can cause problems. The other thing I run into, I have a number of different ratchet straps. Another thing I run into, I have a number of these different cable winches, and they're all just a little bit different. So the connections on them are different. The way the controls work might seem kind of odd to call it controls, but that's what they are. They're ways to control the way the device works. Now I'm going to put this down through the center of this wing, because the wing is a attachment, but it's not very strong. Let's see if this, so I can hook that on there and just slip this around and catch a hold. Cast iron takes a whole lot of compressive strength. I mean, a whole lot of compressive load. Not a problem. But it doesn't do well if you've got a load under tension. So I don't want to put any side load. Yep, hit my head on that ratchet. I literally hate hitting my head. Might be a holdover from when I was a kid, got in that car accident, and I don't know. But in any case, I don't like hitting my head. There we go. Off the pallet, on the floor, no damage done. Put my hooks away, climb up, get the winch down. Life goes on. a kid, 14, 15, I weighed maybe 150 pounds, the most. By the time I was 20, I was up to 185. And I stayed that way until I was 25. But, let's get that off of there. There we go. Set that down. I was watching Matt Off-Road Recovery on YouTube. He had something he called a super shackle. That looks like a handy thing to have. Made out of, and I forget what kind of rope, what it's called, but it's blue rope. I think it might be Kevlar. That's what he put on his off-road tow vehicle. When I worked at Denver, we built a thing called an MRAP, mine-resistant, ambush-protected vehicles. Most of them were for carrying people. They were personal carriers. But a few of them were converted over to wreckers. And we ended up getting one back. It had some damage to it, and we did some repairs to it. A few modifications. It had this thick blue rope on it, and it was supposed to be good for like 15 tons. And I thought, wow, that's so much better than cable, because it felt like cotton rope. And no chain links to stretch, no cables to start getting fish hooks on them. It looked like a nice thing to have. I think if I had an opportunity to get some of that rope, I would. Because sounds like a really nice thing to have for lifting. I don't know if it'd be great for mountain climbing, not sure on how that works. Most of the stuff that I used on the sailboat was braided nylon. Braided nylon's nice, smooth, round rope, very abrasion resistant. It goes through pulleys. They call them blocks on the boat. They call it a block. It goes through the blocks well, runs through a sheave well. It also didn't get damaged when it went through a winch, because towing on a rope like that, pulling on a rope like that through a winch, if you've got stranded rope, it can break down one of the strands and weaken the rope. The braided stuff just didn't have a problem. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, is this David?
I am David. What may I do for you?
This is Jason with US Financials on our recorded line. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I am totally fine, sir. We guys are offering our net purchase program. So, do you have any credit cards? You want to pay off?
I don't have any financial difficulties right now. I am very rich. I have many, many houses and cars. Also, I have many women. Would you like one? This guy's such a chucklehead. It's annoying. If you are a telemarketer, practice. You want to talk. You don't want to come off like this guy. I don't know, maybe you get these kind of calls and it doesn't bother you, but it just annoys me. Because I used to do phone calls. I was a radio advertising salesperson. That meant I talked to people on the phone a lot. And I wasn't doing cold calls. Well, occasionally I had to do a cold call because I had a boss that said, I want to have everybody make 20 phone calls today before they leave. He was of the old school that thought that was the best way to sell things. I went out and talked to people. I had pretty good success. But in any case, you don't want to come off sounding like some chucklehead from some place that the person has never heard from. And accents, sometimes accents are cool. Most of the time it just makes it difficult to pronounce things so that everyone understands you. So if you're a telemarketer, get somebody to sit down and listen to you and go through your spiel and tell you what you're doing wrong. And try not to make it a spiel. Try to just say, hi, I'm so-and-so from this place and I have this to offer you. And are you interested? And if they're not, hang up and go on. There's no point talking to them if they don't want it. And if somebody starts giving you a line of crap like I was giving this guy, hang up and go on. I'm not a customer. I'm not a buyer. I'm never going to buy anything from him. He should see that in the first couple of seconds. Best thing to do, hang up the phone, keep on trucking. Because I've blocked his number. He won't call me back. And also, he's just reinforced something that I've long thought. Most of the time, these phone calls aren't worth picking up. So anyways, now I have the saw off the pallet. And I have the hoist down and everything's ready to go. This thing's winched up and put back on the rack so it's ready for the next time. Now that the shop's getting a little bit more organized, I know it's not very organized, but it's a little more organized. I now have places for most of the things to go. It may not be the permanent place, but it's a place that I know I'll put it over there. When I need it again, it's going to be over in that place. There. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
Not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.